Hello everybody, Johnny here to share with you some of my thoughts on this fight and a few tips. Prefacing all of this by saying this is my experience, I have not researched what is the optimal way of handling this fight. These are just a few general tips that will help you out. Cool? Let's get into it. So the first phase of our boss fight here, Emma, is an opponent you really want to overwhelm with attacks and parrying, and really do not give her any space. Her stamina bar will go down very quickly if you do give her space, and really you can get this done way faster if you just focus on breaking her posture instead of trying to get her HP bar to go down all the way. A few attacks you need to be very wary of. Whenever you see her charge that attack, that glint thing, you want to get right behind her and prepare a powerful attack of your choice. Either a charged attack or an Ichimonji double, those work great here. For the next one, we want to be wary of her grab attack, and you want to just dash into it essentially. If you dash back, you're going to be caught out and it's going to be bad news for you. She will also always telegraph this lunge attack that's followed by a Mikiri counter opportunity, so just be ready with that. The last one I wanted to mention is this sweep attack, which you can either jump over or just dash to the side and then counter it with your attack of choice. Now once we get to here, the real boss begins, and if you're anything like me, impatience is gonna be your worst enemy, and you're gonna want to wait until he comes to you for the most part, and you're gonna make sure that the fight takes place more or less in the center of the arena. You don't want to go to the edges where the camera gets wonky and he gets a little bit more unpredictable. Now he's gonna get 3 attacks that we're gonna be countering here and capitalizing on. Aside from that, you're just gonna stay in the center and parry his attacks. And here's the first attack we're gonna punish. That glint charge is gonna have him land always on the same spot, and you're just gonna have to learn how far back you gotta run to be safe. Once you do, you need a gap closing mechanism. Could be as simple as just running in and landing an attack or an Ichimonji, or you could use a night jar, which you could then also follow with a night jar reversal to just kind of get out of there safely. A lot of options open to you, really up to you how you want to tackle this, but that's the first opportunity to deal some damage. Okay, here's the next one. Watch that little sidestep thing, did you see that? Let's go full Baywatch slow-mo on that. And right there, that's the sidestep, and right now you're gonna be pressing your Mikiri button. Now sometimes Mikiri is not gonna connect because he's moving laterally, but that's fine. You will still dash away from it and have the opportunity to punish that. And that's our next attack we're gonna be punishing. When he does that kind of charged Ichimonji attack, you're gonna have the opportunity to just dash to the side. And if you get hit by it, don't panic, just roll back, make sure you're far away to heal. But yeah, whenever he does that charge attack, right there it is again. You're just gonna roll to the side and you're gonna have enough time to charge whatever attack of your preference to punish that. Just be ready to deflect immediately after you do your attacks, because he's gonna go in and either get some distance or do some attacks of his own. So those are the 3 attacks that I felt quite safe punishing. There are a couple other opportunities that I'll mention here and there, but really if you want to play safe, those are kind of my recommendations in terms of go-to windows for you. Aside from that, the main thing here is going to be getting used to the parrying and the pacing of the fight. There is another move he does, which is a grab move. You can see it right there. You can either just dash away or kind of run back, which is what I typically do. You could also kind of dash into it, and if you do manage to avoid it, you can then punish that. I just found it was better to get out of dodge because I have a bit of a panic situation with grab attacks. Really, a lot of the difficulty in the game in general, but in this fight specifically, is that you need to deflect and also react to stuff almost preemptively before it happens. So you kind of need to know animations and tells well enough to be able to do that. Because if you rely on just real-time reaction, For me at least, that wasn't enough in many of the attacks, and so I've had to kind of learn the fight quite well and know what he's doing and understand the tells of each attack in order to be able to react quick enough to things. As you can see, I don't use any emblems so far in this fight. There's a reason for that, but I don't find any emblems really helped me too much until the final phase, which we'll get to in a moment. When it comes to combat arts, my biggest two recommendations are the Ichimonji and Ichimonji Double, which you see me use here in the video, but also the Nightjar and Nightjar Reversal. Those are very useful to bridge the gap and to also get out of dodge while landing an attack. Congratulations on getting to the final phase of the fight here. That attack right there is something we need to focus on, so let's take a look at it a bit more closely. Whenever you see him stop and growl like that, my recommendation is that you walk up to him and use the firecrackers to stop that shit, because it will cause a very difficult to avoid fire attack in the whole arena, followed by just a flurry of attacks. He does retain most of his attack patterns, but some of the attacks now have a fire component, as you could see there. That one we'll talk about more specifically in a moment. Be wary of the grab again. This is a new attack you gotta be mindful of. He summons fire from the ground and you have to time it correctly and jump away from. And here's the Makiri opportunity unchanged. One thing to be wary of is if he does the growl thing and you're not able to interrupt it, like right here, it's gonna be very tricky to avoid damage, and in some way you're always gonna get hit. The whole arena kind of goes on fire. You can kind of see where the fire is going to stem from, so if you jump correctly, you're gonna be able to avoid that initial attack. But then there's a flurry of attacks that happen in the front of the boss that you need to be far away enough from, or just spam deflect at that moment and you will avoid most of the damage. Now that attack right there, I want you to take a look at in more detail. This is basically the same Ichimonji attack that we used to dash away from in phase 1, but now has fire, and on the second hit you really want to deflect in case it hits you, because it's a bit unpredictable and it might do so even though it looks visually like it won't. The final thought I'll leave you with here is just in general, don't panic. When you get to this point, you're probably a little tired and frustrated of having to do the initial stages of the fight quite a few times. But if you get hit by the fire, don't panic. It's not gonna do a lot of damage over time, and you can always cancel it out with heals, a pellet, or the red gourd that removes the fire buildup and all that jazz. So hope you enjoyed this, and if it helped you, let me know down below. Feel free to hit me up on Twitch where I stream regularly. And as always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.
Sekiro よ。やれぬか。